Tonight on Love Live at 6, BCCI President Giacomo Sanchez concedes BTL's proposed acquisition of Smart may already be a done deal. BTL says no loan and no additional Social Security investment will be needed to take over Smart. Public Utilities Commission promises an impartial review of the proposed telecommunications merger. Belize's social partners regroup to determine their next move on the controversial BTL Smart deal. In other news, Foreign Affairs Minister Francis Fonseca says Belize is still navigating the future of the Cuban Medical Brigade. Government takes its Maya customary land rights consultations to Punta Gorda, and a sanitation worker, Andrew Alexander Smith, falls off truck and gets run over by a passenger bus. These stories and more in tonight's newscast.
Introducing GrowWatt, a global leader in distributed energy solutions, delivering innovative solar technology trusted around the world. Engineered for reliability, designed for sustainability, built to power every scenario, powering homes, empowering businesses, creating a smarter energy future for Belize. For residential hybrid systems that maximize energy independence, to homes across Belize benefiting from smarter, more efficient power management. GrowWatt off-grid solar storage solutions bring dependable electricity to locations beyond the traditional power grid, providing clean, reliable energy whenever and wherever it is needed. For businesses, GrowWatt delivers powerful commercial and industrial energy solutions that help reduce operating costs while improving energy security, including proven installations right here in Belize, helping businesses operate efficiently with dependable solar energy systems. As transportation evolves, GrowWatt EV charging solutions help power the future with clean energy. Need power on the move? GrowWatt portable solar power solutions provide flexible energy for construction sites, events, emergency applications, and temporary installations. GrowWatt delivers energy smart solutions for a greener future. Distributed in Belize by Llano Supplies, 112 Ranchita Village, Corozal Town.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
Before our grid reached across Belize, it was built by generations of Belizeans committed to connecting communities and powering progress. Through the hands, the dedication, and the vision of our people, the grid grew with Belize. A nation built through strength and resilience, and a network built pole by pole. Today, that responsibility continues, strengthened by every hand that follows. Each generation building on the last and carrying forward a shared responsibility, serving communities, powering schools, hospitals, businesses, and homes, supporting a nation that continues to grow. Belize Electricity Limited, built to serve, serving Belize.
This no right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing no trash on the highway. We no fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that for we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Pelican is more than just brewed in Belize. It's made of Belize. And being made of Belize means being authentic, unique, and proud. This is what that looks like. Pelican, the beer of Belize. There are many stories to be shared about what it means to be made of Belize. Join Pelican in celebrating our Belizean heritage by sharing your unique story. A few of these stories will be selected to be produced into Pelican Made of Belize videos. Those chosen will receive Pelican beer for a year and will be invited to join us during production. Let's tell the stories of what it means to be made of Belize. Please send us a WhatsApp message at 630-6519 or email us at madeofbelize@skz.bz.
In Belize, the Public Utilities Commission works every day amid the rhythm of economic activities to ensure homes, businesses, and communities have access to necessary utility services. Through regulations, the Public Utilities Commission powers progress, connect communities, encourage new ideas and bold innovation, manage consumer rights, guide change, and serves in the best interests of national development for a future that benefits us all. Every decision is informed by evidence and guided by regulations and the law. So if and when changes arise in any of Belize's utility sectors, including situations that may affect competition, regulations and laws allow the PUC to carefully assess those changes, ensuring consumers are treated fairly while maintaining a sustainable utility sector. The Public Utilities Commission, guided by the law, informed by evidence, working to ensure fair and sustainable utility services for Belize.
Good evening, Belize, and welcome back to Love Live at 6 with your news for tonight. I am Tamar Jones. Has the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry thrown in the towel when it comes to BTL's proposed acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited? Chamber President Giacomo Sanchez appeared somewhat resigned today, conceding that the proposed $80 million purchase of the company operating under the Smart brand is now more than likely a done deal. His comments followed two significant developments. On Friday, the Social Security Board, BTL's second largest shareholder, reportedly took a no objection position on the transaction. Then yesterday, BTL's board of directors approved the proposed purchase of 100% of SpeedNet's issued shares. Sanchez says those decisions suggest that the acquisition is now likely to move ahead despite the concerns raised by the chamber and other social partners.
Overall, I believe what will occur, or what has occurred, is that the transaction essentially is a foregone conclusion, because that vote yesterday essentially tells the public and tells everyone that this deal is going through one way or the other. And who, from a PUC standpoint, it's just a matter of timing as to when they give some sort of indication that it would have been approved. From a BTL standpoint, yes, it's a done deal. I don't think this will go back or be reversed. It's just the nature of the thing. As you will appreciate, the BCCI isn't against any type of merger in business and interfering in private matters. But this is significantly of a public nature, given that the government has a great deal of interest, and of course Social Security's participation as an equity holder in BTL. And if you look at over the past few months, the issue came up and we addressed it at the time, and then there were consultations. Coming out of those consultations, we were still not satisfied that we're getting value for money. We're still not satisfied that the regulatory environment is there to give any comfort to consumers post-acquisition by BTL of this Smart SpeedNet enterprise. What we've done is essentially put the cart before the horse. We should have put in the proper legislative safeguards and guardrails, and then we can see the proceeding of a fluid transaction. However, there was a rush, and I honestly don't know why there was a rush in concluding, because to me it was more a seller-driven transaction rather than a buyer-driven transaction, which is not good for the people of Belize.
The Chamber has called for greater transparency, access to SpeedNet's audited financial statements, and stronger assurances that the purchase represents good value for the Belizean public. However, Sanchez indicated that the Chamber has limited options remaining. While trade union representatives and members of the opposition have taken their concerns directly to BTL's headquarters, Sanchez says the Chamber is not an organization that would ordinarily mobilize its membership for street demonstrations.
We would love to be in that position where we just are out there and in the faces of the opposing the transaction. Unfortunately, that's not the nature of how our constituency operates. So we still need to go back to our constituents to get a feel for their feeling, because oftentimes when you're dealing with public funds, it's so far removed from our own individual pockets that people kind of lose interest. We as a chamber needs to continue advocate to ensure that PUC put in the proper regulations. I mean, it's post-transaction, but it's a fight that we need to continue fighting with the PUC to ensure that there's sufficient guardrails so that our consumers in Belize, from a telecommunications standpoint, isn't unfairly treated the way we have been in the past. The public should push back. However, there's only a few people in the know that will feel the way we feel. However, I mean, just about 90% of Belizeans could care less. That's just the nature of how business works in Belize, especially when it comes to complicated matters of legality and regulations.
BTL's board approval does not yet amount to final execution of the purchase. According to the company, the decision remains subject to continued due diligence and the negotiation of representations, warranties, and other protections. A definitive share purchase agreement must be returned to the board for a separate review and final approval before it is signed. Belize Telemedia Limited has issued a release indicating that it will not borrow money to finance its proposed $80 million acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited. The company is also assuring the public that the purchase will not require any additional investment from the Social Security Board. In a release issued after yesterday's board meeting, BTL said the investment will instead be repaid from SpeedNet's own operating cash flows. Based on the company's current projections, the $80 million investment has an estimated discounted payback period of approximately 4.2 years. BTL's board approved the proposed purchase of 100% of SpeedNet's issued share capital, but the transaction is not yet final. Love News understands, however, that a final approval is subject to the satisfactory completion of continued due diligence and the negotiation of appropriate warranties, representations, and other contractual protections for BTL. Once those negotiations advance to the definitive agreement stage, the share purchase agreement will be presented to the board for a separate review and final approval before it is executed. BTL says the acquisition would reduce the unnecessary duplication of telecommunications infrastructure, strengthen network reliability, and redirect resources toward technological modernization. Our newsroom further understands that BTL's management had already secured support from a majority of its workers. An employee survey conducted in January attracted responses from 327 employees, or 62% of those likely available to participate. Of that number, 257 employees, representing 79% of respondents, supported the proposed acquisition. 70 employees, or 21%, opposed it. The survey results were reportedly reviewed and signed off by representatives of BTL's Audit Department, Human Resources, and the Belize Communications Workers Union Executive. The Public Utilities Commission, PUC, is assuring Belizeans that no final regulatory decision has been made on BTL's proposed acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited. In a release issued today, the PUC reaffirmed that it will follow the applicable laws, regulations, and established procedures when reviewing the proposed transaction. The Commission says it recognizes the significant public interest in the matter and the concerns being expressed by stakeholders. The PUC's reviews will consider consumer protection, the continuity and quality of telecommunication services, transitional arrangements, market transparency, and fairness. The Commission stressed that it is legally obligated to remain impartial and for that reason cannot comment on the ongoing public debate or indicate what its eventual decision may be. The formal regulatory decision, once issued, will represent the PUC's official position. It is noteworthy, however, that an existing regulatory policy prevents BTL from increasing its approved rates before December 2028. The PUC says it will approach the matter with fairness and due diligence, ensuring that the interests of consumers, the telecommunications sector, and the country are carefully considered before any decision is made. Belize's social partners are regrouping to determine their next move as BTL pushes ahead with its proposed $80 million acquisition of SpeedNet Communications Limited. Representatives of the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Belize Network of Non-Governmental Organizations, the National Evangelical Association of Belize, and the National Trade Union Congress of Belize met today to discuss the controversial transaction. Following their meeting, the organizations agreed to begin a comprehensive information sharing exercise across their respective memberships. The process is intended to ensure that members understand the possible economic, regulatory, and public interest implications of bringing SMART under BTL's ownership. The social partners say the consultations will guide their collective decision on what steps should be taken next. They maintain that the process must be transparent, and that any acquisition involving a company largely held through public investments must be subjected to proper scrutiny. The meeting comes one day after BTL's board of directors gave preliminary approval for the purchase of 100% of SpeedNet's issued shares, a decision that remains subject to continued due diligence. Despite recent assurances, the social partners say they remain committed to good governance, economic stability, and protecting the public interest. Tensions flared outside Belize Telemedia Limited's headquarters yesterday as opposition leader Tracy Panton and a group of UDP supporters gathered while the company's board of directors considered the proposed purchase of SpeedNet Communications Limited. Panton and her supporters were not granted access to the building. During the confrontation, some members of the group could be heard threatening to damage BTL's front door if they were not allowed inside. Police officers later arrived to maintain order and were also met with threatening remarks from some members of the gathering. Amid the commotion, Panton gave an interview in BTL's parking lot where she renewed the opposition's objections to the proposed acquisition and again called for an independent valuation of SpeedNet.
And in my view, they continue to betray the people of this country. And it is important that the Belizean people know that we will continue, if it's how many of us come out, we will continue to stand up for what is right, what is fair, and what is just.
When do you organize to do more?
Well, we're waiting for the official decision.
You expect that they will put out a release?
They have to. They must absolutely have to put out a release. I have a meeting scheduled with the unions for the 6th of this month or next week, later this week. The meeting was already set up for us to talk about where we can have mutual collaboration, and certainly this is going to be one of the issues that we are going to be discussing at that meeting on the 6th.
BTL maintains that an independent valuation has already been conducted. According to the company, the evaluation was carried out by More Belize LLP and verified by the firm's international partners in Brazil. Panton on the UDP, however, continued to argue that additional disclosure and scrutiny are necessary because public funds are tied to BTL through the government and the Social Security Board. The Ministry of Indigenous Affairs continued its engagement on Maya customary land rights today with the second National Consultation and Information Sharing Session in Punta Gorda Town. The session was led by Minister of Indigenous Affairs Dr. Louis Zabani and Toledo West Area Representative Oscar Requena. The consultation brought together residents and other stakeholders to discuss the ongoing process for implementing the Caribbean Court of Justice's 2015 consent order on Maya customary land tenure. Dr. Zabane said the government is also exploring the possibility of extending similar consultations to Belize's other 5 districts, allowing the wider public to better understand and participate in the process.
So already what we have is a draft legislation that was based on a policy approved by the cabinet on how we would want to implement the CCJ consent order of 2015. It now goes through a review panel where we have membership from the government on the panel, from the MLA TAA, and from private landowners. Input goes into that, then that goes back to the cabinet. The cabinet then, with a draft bill, goes to the National Assembly, and we then go through the National Assembly process, the committee process, and then we have a law. But that needs to be well informed by the views of our people.
You did leave out the MLA and TAA. Your comments on their cooperation, their work?
Well, we are very happy to have them back around the table. They had temporarily stepped aside and solicited the views of the CCJ. The CCJ came back to them and asked them to continue with the process, and now they're back together, and that's how it should be, in my view, because that will now allow us to move forward as we have planned in our roadmap. So it's very nice to have them back around the table.
Participants were also presented with draft legislation developed from the government's policy framework for implementing the CCJ order. According to Dr. Zabane, the policy remains under revision as feedback from communities and stakeholders is gathered. Toledo West Area Representative Oscar Requena said today's session was intended to provide information, while more importantly, hearing directly from the people whose communities are most closely connected to the Maya land rights process. He explained that the consultation also gave participants an opportunity to examine and comment on the proposed legislation.
Really is, to build consensus as a people. It is very important that we listen to the various perspectives, the various representatives and their organizations that they represent. And at the end of the day, we have to build consensus on the way forward. There is no doubt that we all recognize that as Maya we have rights to our land. The process now is to be able to identify, demarcate and safeguard these lands, and that this is the process that the government is going through. And today we took it another step by engaging the residents of the Toledo district and the wider audience of Belizeans, because this process or this event was carried live on air, so it afforded an opportunity for Belizeans to be able to see what is happening.
The government says the consultation process is intended to help develop an implementation framework that respects the CCJ ruling, responds to the concerns of affected communities, and provides greater clarity surrounding Maya customary land rights in southern Belize. In other news, the future of the Cuban Medical Brigade in Belize remains unsettled as the Briceño administration continues negotiations aimed at preserving vital healthcare services while responding to pressure from the United States. Minister of Foreign Affairs Francis Fonseca provided an update today, saying the government is still navigating a sensitive process involving Belize's healthcare needs, its long-standing relationship with Cuba, and its important diplomatic partnership with Washington.
It's an ongoing discussion. The Prime Minister was recently, as you know, in Washington, D.C., where he met with the Deputy Secretary of State, Landau. They discussed that matter. So it's an ongoing discussion. My position still remains, and our position at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs still remains, that we believe that there is an opportunity for us to keep certainly elements and members of the brigade. How we do that, how we structure that is still under discussion. But I'm hopeful that we can work out some arrangement which allows doctors, nurses, other medical professionals, Cuban medical professionals, to get work permits or permanent residence status, something of that nature. But that discussion between ourselves, Ministry of Health and Wellness, that is ongoing.
The issue intensified in February 2025 when the United States expanded its visa restriction policy, targeting officials linked to Cuba's overseas labor program. Washington alleges that some Cuban medical missions involve forced labor and the exploitation of healthcare workers. In June 2025, the policy was specifically extended to Central American government officials believed to be involved in such arrangements. Cuba and several Caribbean governments have strongly rejected that characterization. Belize has hosted Cuban doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals for decades, with brigade members playing an especially important role in rural and underserved communities. By March of this year, Prime Minister John Briceño acknowledged that the program was never intended to be permanent and pointed to government's efforts to train more Belizean doctors. Later that month, Fonseca rejected claims that Belize had received a formal notice from Washington ordering the government to end the arrangement. In April, Fonseca confirmed that Belize's previous agreement with Cuba had expired and that the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Health were discussing a new arrangement with the Cuban government. At that time, Belize had approximately 92 Cuban medical professionals, including 45 doctors. Government also began exploring the recruitment of nurses from countries such as the Philippines and Nicaragua as a contingency measure. The matter took another turn in June when the United States indicated that it supported Belize winding down the existing brigade program. Fonseca subsequently said Cabinet would make a final determination in September. As a follow-up to our report yesterday on the fish kill affecting sections of the Belize River Valley, the Department of the Environment has launched a multi-agency investigation into what it describes as a possible contamination event. The department says it received reports yesterday that numerous dead fish were floating along sections of the Belize River. In response, personnel from the DOE, Belize Water Services Limited, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, NEMO, the Fisheries Department, and the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing conducted a joint assessment of the affected areas. The exercise included water quality monitoring and sampling. Investigators are also examining nearby land clearing activities, possible wastewater discharge sources, and other factors that may have affected the river's aquatic environment. The cause of the fish kill has not yet been identified, and the technical assessments remain ongoing. As a precaution, residents are advised not to eat fish or other aquatic resources taken from the affected areas. The public should also avoid drinking untreated river water or using it for cooking and food preparation. Untreated river water should not be given to livestock or pets until further notice. Authorities have stressed that the warning applies only to water taken directly from the river. It does not apply to treated water supplied by Belize Water Services Limited. BWS has confirmed that water from its treatment plant remains safe for consumption, meets the required potable water standard, and continues to be supplied without disruption. The DOE has also reminded the public that releasing untreated wastewater or treated effluent that does not meet the standards established under the Environmental Protection Regulations is prohibited and constitutes an offense. The department says the public will be updated once the water samples and other information gathered during the investigation have been processed and analyzed. More than 1,200 teachers and school leaders are taking part in Belize's second National EdTech Summit, an initiative aimed at strengthening the use of technology in education. The two-day event at the Belize City Civic Center began yesterday with teachers from across the country participating in the sessions focused on classroom technology and strategies to enhance teaching and learning. Today's sessions were tailored specifically for principals and school teachers, with discussions centered on digital transformation and ways technology can be used to improve school systems and support student success. Minister of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, Francis Fonseca says the continued focus on education technology forms part of broader efforts to ensure Belize's students and schools are prepared for the future.
It's really all about, the Ministry of Education engaging with our teachers and our school leaders and education stakeholders, to really have a comprehensive, substantive discussion about the intersection of education and technology. So that's what it's all about. Technology is here, as you all know, artificial intelligence is here. So how do we use these tools that we have, these technological tools? How can we do our best at the policy level, at the leadership level, at the management level of our schools to ensure that we are using these tools effectively to improve the quality of education in our education system, to support our teachers, to support our students. That's the whole objective of the summit.
The Director of Science and Technology, Namrita Balani, says collaboration among key stakeholders is necessary to ensure technology is effectively integrated into classrooms and schools across Belize.
This year, we framed it around teaching hacks, hashtag teaching hacks, the largest brainstorming session in Belize. We've cut it down into 4 specific pillars. So how you could hack time, how you could hack space, hack your imagination, and hack the curriculum. A lot of times when you hear the word hack, you think it's a bad thing, right? But we're teaching them hacks as in tips and cool ways that they could help save them time, help save space. A lot of times people think that AI should not be used, that trying to change the mindset. So this year has been focusing specifically on changing the mindset and letting them know that transformation doesn't begin with technology. It begins with leadership. It begins in the classroom. And we focus on not, booths giving out promotional material or educational material. We focus on more like interactive booths. So go there, there's like 30-minute sort of hacking lab sessions that can happen, and they're learning something. So like the DigiBoot, they're learning how they could use Google Classroom, how they could use Microsoft, because these licenses for education are free, but sometimes the teachers and leaders don't know how to use it, how to get started. So they're sitting down through 30 minutes of session, seeing how they can get started, seeing the capacity of it and the capabilities of it. So I think that's what the teachers have loved. We even have Belize Music Project. They're teaching teachers how to make beats. We have Institute of Archaeology. We have the Jade Mass here as well. So it's just been very interactive.
The National EdTech Summit concluded today. It is the second of its kind in Belize, following the inaugural summit held in 2025 in Spanish Lookout. The first event brought together education stakeholders to discuss the growing role of digital tools in Belize and the need to strengthen Belize's readiness for a changing educational landscape. The initiative is a collaboration between the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, 501 Academy, Digi, UNICEF Belize, and the National Institute of Culture and History. Belize's teacher licensing system could become more flexible under the new education bill introduced in the House of Representatives on Friday. Minister of Education Francis Fonseca says the proposed changes are intended to expand the pool of teachers available to schools at a time when Belize continues to lose trained professionals to opportunities abroad. Under the current system, teachers are licensed to teach within particular subject areas and levels. Fonseca says this can create difficulties when a trained educator has the knowledge and ability to teach another subject, but is prevented from doing so because it falls outside the specific area listed on the teacher's license. The minister says the new legislation would allow the system to make better use of the qualifications, experience, and capabilities teachers already possess. He explained that this flexibility is particularly important as schools face staffing shortages worsened by the brain drain.
What we're doing is expanding the pool and really building in flexibility into the teacher licensing regime. One of the issues we've been discussing with the BNTU and with our school managements over the past few years is how can we make that regime more flexible? As you know, one of the challenges Belize faces, like every other developing country, is keeping our teachers, right? Keeping our teachers at home. And so one of the key features of this licensing regime is that a teacher who does not necessarily have a degree, say you don't have a degree in math or a degree in science or a degree in a particular subject, could still get a license to teach a particular subject if they demonstrate certain capacity and if they meet particular criteria. But we want to build in flexibility into the, it's too rigid now. It's too rigid where we have a lot of teachers who have skills in particular areas but can't teach because they don't have all of the required academic qualifications. So we want to make it more flexible to allow for that to happen.
Fonseca stressed that the proposal is not intended to lower teaching standards. Instead, the aim is to widen the available pool while ensuring that persons entering classrooms are properly qualified. The changes would also give schools greater room to respond when suitable teachers are unavailable in certain subjects or communities. The Education Bill 2026 seeks to repeal and replace the existing Education and Training Act, which the government says no longer adequately reflects the changes taking place across the education system. Among its wider objectives, the bill seeks to establish free, accessible, and compulsory basic education in government schools and selected government-aided institutions. It also places greater emphasis on inclusive and rights-based education, updated standards for schools and educators, and clearer responsibilities for the ministry. The proposed legislation is also intended to provide a legal foundation for reforms already being introduced. The bill remains before the National Assembly and must complete the parliamentary process before becoming law. 17,000 acres of land at Turneffe Atoll will remain under government ownership and be protected in perpetuity for the people of Belize. The decision was among several approved by Cabinet during its meetings on July 28 and August 4. Cabinet authorized the finalization and execution of the deed of mutual release, compromise, and settlement, along with an irrevocable declaration of trust establishing the Turneffe Conservation Land Trust. The approximately 17,000 acres will be held in trust permanently, strengthening the protection of one of Belize's most environmentally important areas. Cabinet also approved they made terminals to the National Bus Company. In public sector reform, Cabinet approved an $80 million loan agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank. The financing is intended to improve the management of central government's wage bill and increase the effectiveness of strategic public employment. Cabinet also reviewed the recovery of Belize's shrimp industry, which was severely affected by early mortality syndrome. Production has tripled since 2020, with the industry's contribution to the Belizean economy now approaching $25 million. Government expects faster growing shrimp genetics, new investments, and expanded use of intensive farming systems to support further growth. The industry is also positioning itself to revive exports to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Taiwan. The award of Cabinet approved amendments to the National Awards Act to establish two new national honors. The Award of Valor would recognize extraordinary bravery, courage, and self-sacrifice in protecting lives or the national interests. The Order of Patriotic Excellence and National Pride would honor Belizeans who demonstrate exceptional patriotism, loyalty, and selfless national service. Passengers departing through Belize's municipal airports will also face a new $10 aviation security fee. Cabinet approved the charge to help the Belize Airports Authority introduce more advanced screening procedures, modernize airport security, and meet evolving international civil aviation requirements. On the legislative front, Cabinet approved amendments to the Cybercrime Bill intended to protect freedom of expression while preserving the state's ability to address malicious deepfake impersonation, extortion, threats, and targeted harassment. The exposed amendments would expressly safeguard journalism, political debate, satire, and public accountability. They would also require the written consent of the Director of Public Prosecutions before a prosecution under the relevant provision could begin. Cabinet submitted by stakeholders and are intended to align the legislation with Belize's common law system and international anti-corruption standards. And finally, Cabinet reminded Belizeans that GST will be waived on eligible school supplies during 2 back-to-school tax-free days, Saturday, August 15 and Saturday, August 29. Freetown Area Representative Francis Fonseca has publicly thrown his support behind Deputy Mayor Eliud Miller in the race to become the People's United Party's mayoral candidate for Belize City. Fonseca's endorsement adds significant political weight to Miller's campaign as the PUP prepares for a contested convention ahead of the March 2027 municipal elections. Speaking today, Fonseca said he believes Miller has the energy and leadership qualities needed to head the party's next Belize City slate.
I'm supporting Mr. Miller, Eliud Miller. Yeah. Well, the convention is set, as you know, the National Executive set the date for it is August 30th. I think the delegates list will be prepared and submitted sometime this week.
Lake Independent Area Representative Cordell Hyde. Fonseca's endorsement of Miller now places 2 prominent PUP ministers.
It's not you, it's your mattress. Right mattress changes everything. Sherwood Bedding Luxury Resort Pillow Top Mattress. Sleep better, wake better. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
Compensated for their efforts. Because when your people are successful, so is your business.
Total restorative cleaning of limestone, travertine, clay, and more. Vacuums, doormats, and we also have certified green products, which are used by Green Globe approved companies. Visit us at 68 North Front Street, Belize City, or contact us at telephone 223-1820. Email us info@ccpbelize.com.
Hardware store. Now we online giving you more. Home or job site, no stress, no sweat. Everything you need, you could get. Household appliances, day or night. Shopping for supplies made easy and light. Click, click, boom, and the order done. Building in Belize just got more fun.
While we're long in a line, save your energy and your time. Delivery pulling up right by your gate. Castillo's Hardware, making building great.
Build smarter,
shop easier. Castillo's making life sweeter.
anytime.
Anywhere, hardware shopping without a care.
Browse online, get what you need.
Fast and easy with lightning speed.
Pick up or delivery, choose your way.
Castillo's got you covered every day. From your phone, just tap them by. No more hassle, no more.
Do it best with Castillo's Hardware.
Belize is calling for change, and the future is in her hands. Meet our 4 incredible delegates competing for the crown of Miss Earth Belize 2026. Join us for the national pageant on August 8, 2026 at the Belize City Civic Center. Tickets, general admission $10, VIP $100, and ultra VIP tables $1,000. Seating for 5, wine and charcuterie included.
Tickets will be available for purchase at all Pink Boutique locations, Onyx Beauty Lounge, and Medisco.
Be a part of the movement. Beauty for a cause. Miss Earth Belize 2026.
Belize, you feel it yet? Carnival season there. Creole Heartbeat there too. One brand new showcase band celebrating for we Creole culture with rhythm, with pride. Come wear the beautiful costumes. We talking you on the road. Join the band. Call 600-7453 or email creoleheartbeat@gmail.com. Creole Heartbeat, come feel the rhythm.
Back to school tax-free days are here again. Saturday, August 15th and 29th.
The Belize Tax Service is pleased to inform all consumers that General Sales Tax GST will once again be waived on eligible school supplies. In addition to the existing exempt zero-rated items, the government has approved the following school supplies to be GST-free for the designated period. The approved items are taxable items, tax-free for the approved days, pens, uniform material, ready-made uniforms, binders, folders, highlighters, markers, pencil sharpeners, calculators, regular and scientific, scissors, folder pages, graph paper, typing sheets, rulers, Bristol board, correction fluid, whiteout, eligible footwear, black school shoes and black tennis shoes, tape, brown paper, book cover, crap paper, newsprint, shop paper, liquid soap, glue, geometry set, lunch kits and boxes, socks, hand sanitizer and toilet paper. Exempt zero-rated, notebooks, textbooks, workbooks, school bags, pencils, crayons, lead pencils, erasers, and pencil cases. Remember, check your receipts after purchase to ensure GST is not incorrectly applied. Report any abuse or non-compliance by calling 613-2773, 613-8375, 614-5731, or 613-2840. For further assistance or information, please visit or contact any Belize Tax Service office countrywide. Our team is ready to assist.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
Back to School 2026 with the Angelus Press is here. And this year is bigger and better. We're talking unbelievable deals all summer long. Starting June 15, stock up on all your school essentials.
New notebooks? Check. Fresh backpacks? Check. Prices that make you smile? Double check.
Mommy, I want my new Samsonite backpack.
That's right. Samsonite still offers a sweet 1-year warranty. And hey, you even get a free merch with purchase while supplies last. Stay in the loop by following the Angelus Press on social media. Every Friday during our back-to-school season, look out for our jaw-dropping This Stuff for Real deals.
So before you shop, make sure you follow
The Angelus Press, your back-to-school headquarters all summer long. The Angelus Press and the Love Foundation, transforming lives with love.
Welcome back to Love Live at 6. A man was killed this afternoon after reportedly falling from the rear of a moving garbage truck and being run over by a passenger bus in Lordsbank Village. Police responded to the traffic accident on Lordsbank Road at approximately 1:20 p.m. Upon arrival, officers found a green International brand garbage truck at the center of the road and the motionless body of Andrew Alexander Smith lying nearby. A passenger bus was parked approximately 75 feet away. Initial investigations indicate that the bus, driven by 35-year-old Robert Escobar of Barrelboom Village, was traveling from east to west At the same time, the garbage truck driven by 48-year-old Oren Sutherland of Ladyville was traveling in the opposite direction. As the two vehicles passed each other, Smith reportedly fell from the rear of the garbage truck and landed directly in the path of the bus. The bus then struck and ran over him. A witness reported hearing a loud impact before looking over and seeing Smith under the passing bus. Police processed the scene, prepared a sketch plan, and recorded witness statements. A urine sample was also obtained from the bus driver as part of the investigation. Both drivers reportedly held valid licenses and the two vehicles were insured. Smith's body was transported to the Carl Huschener Memorial Hospital morgue, where he was officially pronounced dead at 4:07 this afternoon. A robbery on Mahogany Street in Belize City this afternoon ended with two suspected robbers being shot by their intended victim. At approximately 1 o'clock, police responded to reports of a robbery involving a salesman. Investigators say two dark-skinned men wearing helmets reportedly held the salesman at gunpoint and stole an undisclosed amount of money from his vehicle. During the confrontation, the salesman reportedly pulled out his licensed firearm and fired several shots, striking both suspects. Despite their injuries, the men fled along Amandala Drive toward the riverside. The two injured men later arrived at the Carl Huschener Memorial Hospital seeking treatment for gunshot wounds. Police have not released their identities or provided details on their medical conditions. Investigators processed the scene and recovered 4 expended 9mm shell casings. Police are continuing their investigation into both the reported robbery and the subsequent shooting. A 21-year-old Maskell Village woman has been charged with arson following a fire that completely destroyed the home she reportedly shared with her boyfriend. Vida Ashanti August, an unemployed, appeared unrepresented before the magistrate's court on Monday, where she was arraigned on a single count of arson. Police alleged that on Saturday, August 1, August intentionally set fire to a 16 by 24-foot wooden house belonging to 33-year-old Jose David Recinos. The house and its contents were valued at approximately $35,000. No plea was taken because the prosecution is awaiting instructions from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. According to the allegations, August and Recinos were separating and a man had been hired to help August move her belongings from the residence in the Spanish Town area of Maskell. After the items were loaded onto a pickup truck, August allegedly told the man that she had set fire to the house. He reportedly checked the structure and found it on fire. Efforts by residents to extinguish the blaze were unsuccessful, and the house was completely destroyed. August was subsequently detained following a complaint from Recinos, whom she identified in court as her boyfriend. August was granted bail of $10,000 along with 2 sureties. She must now report to the Maskell police station every Wednesday and notify the court before changing her address. August was also ordered not to contact, interfere, or communicate with Recinos or members of his family, directly or indirectly, or through social media. She must also remain at least 100 yards from his home, workplace, and other places he regularly visits. August met bail on Monday and is scheduled to return to court on September 23. 50 children are spending part of their summer learning potentially life-saving skills through the annual swimming program organized by the Community-Oriented Policing Unit of Eastern Division. The one-week program was officially launched on Monday in collaboration with the Belize Coast Guard. It brings together children between the ages of 4 and 16 for structured swimming lessons led by trained instructors. Throughout the week, participants are learning basic and advanced swimming techniques. The program is also designed to build confidence in the water, promote fitness, and encourage teamwork and discipline. Organizers say the initiative provides children with a safe and enjoyable activity during the summer break while equipping them with life-saving skills. The Belize Police Department and Belize Coast Guard say the program forms part of their continued investment in young people through positive community engagement. The Gulisi Community Primary School in Dangriga, Stan Creek District, has received a cash donation and $10,000 worth of paint from RFG Insurance Company Limited. The handover took place yesterday at the Gulisi Museum, where the insurance agent Marlon Quilin presented the school with $2,790 along with paint supplies to assist with improvements to the school's buildings. The cash donation came through a community initiative where RFG Insurance contributed $1 for every client who visited its office last year. The efforts raised $1,395 and the company matched that amount, doubling the final contribution. Gulisi Community Primary School has been serving children in Dangriga for years while supporting the preservation of Garifuna culture through education. Quilin says the donation reflects RFG's insurance continued commitment to giving back, including its partnership with the National Garifuna Council on initiatives that support the Garifuna community.
Why we chose Gulisi Community Primary? It's because over 7,000 living languages that are alive today, almost have 43%, 3,078 of those languages are considered to be endangered. And in our own little part, the idea is to make sure that the Garifuna language never becomes a part of that statistic. So it is important to not only support the school and initiatives, but to support the Garifuna culture and identity and the heritage. A few years ago, we donated paint to the Ignacia Cacho Library. We also donated paint to the National Garifuna Council building. 3 years ago, we adopted the planters at the entrance of Dangriga, where we renovated, we repainted, and we planted yellow plants, which is symbolic to the Garifuna color, and we continue to maintain it. So when you come into Dangriga, you see this nice, picturesque, welcoming scenery. Well, I would hope that other businesses would follow suit, because as the moderator mentioned earlier, Ms. Gwen, the interior of the school also needs painting. They need monies to paint for the labor. If each business in Dangriga would adopt one classroom, every business adopt a classroom each, we would have beautiful classrooms all over this district. In fact, it would be happen. We would have beautiful schools and a nice environment, nicer environment for our students all over Belize.
School manager Gwen Eunice Gonzalez says the school is grateful for the contribution.
We're grateful that he considered us, and those monies will be used wisely, I can tell you. Now we are making an appeal. Now we have the paint. There are minor repairs that must be done before painting. So we are asking our community out there, our corporate people and our local people, if they can assist us. We need $7,000 for the repairs and the painting, so that the work can continue. We've had a team that has been assisting us pro bono for now. So we want to ensure that our school is painted before school reopens.
Miss Earth Belize 2026 has been officially launched, marking the beginning of this year's program focused on environmental advocacy, leadership, and the empowerment of young Belizean women. During the launch, organizers introduced this year's delegates and outlined the activities planned for Pageant Week ahead of the national pageant. Throughout the week, the delegates will participate in community outreach and educational initiatives aimed at raising awareness of environmental issues affecting Belize. Organizers say the experience is designed to help the young women strengthen their advocacy, develop leadership skills, and use their platforms to promote conservation. The delegate crowned Miss Earth Belize 2026 will go on to represent Belize at the International Miss Earth pageant in November. Finance Director Wendy Castillo says the program provides participants with an opportunity to develop their voices and become ambassadors for environmental awareness and positive change.
When we were offered the opportunity to be part of the Miss Earth Belize 2026, we look at it from a standpoint of what Belize can gain from such exposure, what is different from other pageants, and truly there is a clear difference. Miss Earth advocates for environmental sustainability, for promotion of the environment, for us to learn to coexist as a community with the environment. Like our national anthem said, we have wealth untold. What are we doing with those wealth? How do we save the wealth untold, the environment, for our next generation? And so we decide that this is truly something that we can take, we can sell internationally, and it can also have an impact by bringing visitors to our show, by promoting our jewel, and to let the world know, as small as we are impactful, that we have so much to offer when it comes to tourism. And so that is the reason why we decide that we will take over this franchise, we will build this franchise from scratch, we will have the Belizean public know more about this franchise and the meaning behind the pageant. It's not just a regular pageant, it's a beauty with a cause, where we are developing leaders, environmental advocates for our country through these young ladies. So Miss Earth is totally different from what Belizean is used to. I am proud to say with the small team we have, we were able to, for the first time, to bring this pageant into the city center on August 8th, this Saturday at 7, where we don't appoint a delegate, but the Belizean public will see their performance, how they advocate for our natural resources, and they will get to see the selection on stage, first time ever, Miss Earth Belize 2026.
The launch also recognized the program's corporate and institutional partners. Representatives from Medisco, the National Channel, Belize Water Services Limited, the Department of the Environment, Quick Stop Finance Center, and Digi participated in a symbolic check presentation, highlighting their support for this year's initiative. For the reigning Miss Earth Belize, Paris Kawich, the experience has been one of growth and purpose. She reflected on her journey over the past year and the opportunity she has had to represent Belize while championing environmental awareness.
Hello, I am Paris Kawich. I am the reigning Miss Earth Belize 2025 to 2026.
Tell us about your experience at Miss Earth.
Well, my experience at Miss Earth was once in a lifetime experience. I got to meet many different delegates from across the world that each share a cause. And I got to learn a lot about their countries and what they are doing to mitigate climate change and to help protect the environment.
And can you tell us your experience as the reigning Miss Earth?
As the reigning Miss Earth, I've gotten to work with many people, many organizations, many children. I've gotten to be in different places, and it has been an experience of a lifetime. I would not have chosen it to be any other way. Yes, the feeling force for my representation and the accomplishments of winning those 2 silver medals that were for different activities organized by the Miss Earth International Organization, which was Darling of the Press, and Green Leaders in Action. And the support from Belize, the support from the media houses, the support from the different organizations in Belize definitely helped me reach my goal, which was to represent Belize as the best as I could on the international stage. So the experience of these 4 delegates has been amazing because I am learning from them as well as they are learning from my experience. I keep on telling them that at the end of the day, this is to show the importance of different situations that are happening in Belize. There's certain things that we need to shed light on in environmental causes in Belize, and each one of them have an advocacy that I believe is very strong and very important in our society and our communities. Please make your way to the Belize Civic Center on Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets are still available and they're going quickly. It's an experience you won't want to miss out on. It's the first time in a while that Miss Earth Belize is doing an pageant, and the production is going to be 100% motivating to watch.
This year's Miss Earth Belize is being held under the theme Beauty with Purpose, Action for Earth. The pageant starts at 7 o'clock on Saturday at the Belize City Civic Center. This is Love Live at 6, and we have more news for you after the break. We'll be right back. If this is an emergency situation, please call 911 right away for immediate assistance. Do not use the Crime Stoppers program in an emergency situation. Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. Remember, the more information you give the officers, the more likely it is that we will be able to identify the suspect or confirm a crime has taken place. This ultimately helps when making arrests. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Never put yourself in danger to gather information. However, if you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Once you click Submit Tip, P3 will ask to send you notifications. You choose what's right for you. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Keep that info safe, as you'll need it to check the status of your tip. Using the app, simply log back in using the PIN you created when you first opened it. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
No right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing a trash on the highway. We not fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Looking to perfect your roofing or siding project with precision? At Coop Sheet Metal, we've got the machine that makes it happen. Introducing our state-of-the-art double folding machine, equipped with advanced technology and engineered to handle complex metal bends in long pieces, various angles, and intricate profiles. Need trims up to 21 feet? Coop Sheet Metal has what you need. From modern siding to custom flashings and fascia details, Coop Sheet Metal makes the products better, faster, and more accurately. For residential, commercial, industrial, or even custom roofing, siding, and trims, all at one place. If you're not sure what you need, we will walk you through it from start to finish. At Coop Sheet Metal, it's not just about metal, it's about variety, confidence, and flawless finish. That's Coop Sheet Metal, your one-stop metal source from start to finish. Call now at 823-0118 or visit coopsheet.com.
Manholes play a critical role in keeping our sewage and drainage systems functioning properly. They allow our maintenance team to inspect, clean, and clear blockages. When covers are missing or compromised, the entire system and the public are placed at risk. Stealing or damaging manhole covers is a criminal offense and creates dangerous conditions on our streets and sidewalks. Motorists and drivers are reminded that it is an offense to park or drive on sidewalks. The weight of vehicles, large or small, can crack and dislodge manhole covers. In an ongoing effort to protect lives, property, and public infrastructure across Belize City, your Belize City Council continues its citywide manhole cover replacement program. Since the launch of this initiative, thousands of damaged or missing manhole covers have been replaced, improving safety, accessibility, and the overall appearance of our streets and sidewalks. Despite these strides, manhole covers continue to be stolen or damaged, creating serious risks for pedestrians and motorists, including severe injuries, traffic incidents, and damage to personal property. If you see a manhole cover that is broken, missing, or unsafe, report it immediately. Take a photo and share the location with us via WhatsApp at 673-9055 or by calling 227-2308. Remember, maintaining manhole covers requires a shared responsibility. Together, we can prevent accidents, protect public infrastructure, and keep Belize City safe for everyone. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Residents of Los Tambos in the Cayo district will return to the polls next month to elect a new member of the village council. The Elections and Boundaries Department has declared the seat vacant following the death of council member Gilberto Gutierrez Jr. A by-election has been scheduled for Sunday, September 6, in accordance with the Village Council Act and its accompanying election regulations. Before that, nomination day will take place on Sunday, August 30 at the Los Tambos Government School. Nominations will open at 9 o'clock in the morning and close at midday. If an election is required, voting will also take place at the Los Tambos Government School on September 6. The polling station will open at 9 o'clock in the morning and close at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The successful candidate will fill the vacant position in the Los Tambos Village Council. Consumers are paying slightly more for liquefied petroleum gas, commonly known as butane, following the introduction of new control prices today. The Supplies Control Unit says the price of LPG has increased by 8 cents per gallon for the current shipment. The adjustment is mainly due to an increase in the price paid to acquire the product. Under the new price structure, LPG is being sold in urban areas at $1.38 per pound or $6.01 per gallon. These prices apply in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio, Benque Viejo del Carmen, Orange Walk, Corozal, Dangriga, and Punta Gorda. Consumers in rural areas are paying $1.40 per pound or $6.11 per gallon. The controlled wholesale price is $4.40 per gallon across all 6 districts. The Supplies Control Unit says the prices apply to imported LPG containing a 70-30 mixture of propane and butane as required under Belize's national standard. The new prices took effect today, Wednesday, August 5. Consumers seeking additional information can contact the Supplies Control Unit at 822-2241. Belize has lost a distinguished legal professional and public servant with the passing of attorney Georgia Brown Gillett. Gillett was widely respected for her work in immigration and international affairs law. She served as principal of the Gillett Law Firm in Florida and was admitted to the Florida Bar in 1996. Gillett also served Belize on the diplomatic front. She spent 2 years as counselor at the Embassy of Belize in Washington, D.C., proudly representing the country in the United States. Her service extended deeply into the Belizean diaspora. As a former president of the Belize Association of Florida and a member of its board of directors, she worked to strengthen connections among Belizeans living abroad and remained a prominent figure within the Belizean American community. Gillett was also a supporter and sponsor of the George Brown Foundation, which promotes educational opportunities for children involved in football. Her academic career included a bachelor's degree in business administration, a law degree from the University of Miami School of Law, and a Master of Arts in International Affairs. She maintained affiliations with several professional organizations, including the American Immigration Lawyers Association, the Caribbean Bar Association, the American Bar Association, and the Inter-American Bar Association. Gillett was the daughter of the late Sir George Noel Brown, a former Chief Justice of Belize. She was also predeceased by her husband, George Gillett. She is survived by her son, Joshua Gillett, and her mother, Eleanor Williams Brown Pearson. This has been Love Live at 6. We want to say thank you for watching. We do invite you to join us again tomorrow evening for another live televised news broadcast. Let's take a look at the latest in weather news.
Good evening, Belize. A moderate and relatively moist easterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for partly cloudy skies tonight with low temperatures of 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 74 inland and 68 in the higher elevations. Tomorrow will be sunny with a few cloudy spells and high temperatures are expected to reach 89 along the coast to 94 inland and 83 over the mountains. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated except for the south, where a few showers and isolated thunderstorms can be expected late at night and early in the morning. The wind will blow from the east at 10 to 20 knots and the sea state will be choppy. A low tide will occur at 8:31 tonight, a high at 2:42 a.m. and a low at 10:33 a.m. and a high at 4:45 in the evening. The sun will set today at 6:23 and rise at 5:33. The moon rise at 11 minutes past 11 tonight and set at 12:40 tomorrow afternoon. The outlook for Thursday night through to Friday is for generally fair weather and shower activity will be isolated and develop over the south. In the tropical weather outlook, no tropical cyclone formation is expected over or near Belize and her coastal waters during the next 48 hours. And that's your evening forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.